It's a Broadway show, the place to find the biggest shows and stars of Broadway. I'm Tamsen Fadal. It's exactly what you wish for. Aladdin has been a Broadway favorite for more than a decade, and Sonya Balsara plays Princess Jasmine. We had a chance to chat. All right, well, let's just jump in and talk about your long love affair with Princess Jasmine.
Oh, yeah. I love her. She's a part of me. And I think when you grow up, I'm a mixed race kid. I'm half Indian, half white. You look for role models as a kid, and she was always one of them. You know, she's so many things. You see yourself visually represented, but also she's tough and smart and courageous, and she goes after what she believes in despite what everyone says around her. So I think she's an awesome role model for kids, and I love to be able to do that in a reimagined Broadway version of that every day.
Does it still feel emotional to play the role each night?
Yeah, there's always moments, you know, I've done it like almost 500 times now. Crazy.
It's in perspective.
Yeah, but like, you know, I think that you relax into it after a while, and so there's moments that like surprise me. And I hear a phrase in a new way, or like I'm watching other people and noticing something for the first time in that moment. And I think that makes me emotional, totally. Every day, there's a little kid in that audience whose life has changed forever. You know, people are like, why do you think Aladdin's been so successful? And I think it's because we are so rooted in joy. Everyone is so happy by the end of the show, and that can be cathartic and healing, and there's so much not joy going on in the world. And so I think that it's a beautiful thing to return to that and to choose joy every day.
Aladdin is such a staple now on Broadway, which is pretty amazing. How does the cast feel, and how does that look celebrating that?
I think we feel really lucky because, I mean, you look at other Broadway shows and we're just so lucky to have lasted. 10 years is a huge milestone for Broadway. I mean, there aren't that many shows that hit 10 years. So then to be a part of that and to know that we have a future beyond this too, and it brings us together, and I think every day we just count our lucky stars for sure.
And what's remarkable is being in the show now as an adult, but you've played this role before, right? What's the difference between those two? I feel like there's a little difference.
Production value, maybe.
Aside from that.
No, I actually, it was funny, a friend of mine who I hadn't talked to in years sent me clips from that production. I played Jasmine and Aladdin Jr. when I was 12. And it's funny because there's parts of it that I'm like, I actually recognize myself in that little kid with braces. And we obviously didn't have like a real flying carpet and all that stuff. But yeah, it's like, it's the same heart, and like the little kid in me I bring on stage with me every day too.
Gypsy is now open on Broadway. The revival stars 6-time Tony Award winner Audra McDonald in the central role. Let's send it out to Paul Wontorek.
Audra, this is happening. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh, I'm so everything. Excited and scared.
Since you're the first Black actress to get to do this role in a big way, especially on Broadway, was it not on your dream list? Was it not something you thought was possible?
No, yeah, it wasn't on my dream list. Especially, you know, when I first got to New York, you know, I was like, you know, I hope someone does a revival of Dreamgirls so I can be in that, or, you know, so like even getting cast in Carousel was just like, what? Real? Okay, cool. You know, but yeah, so it wasn't. But then I had the one Thanksgiving dinner about 8 years ago, and Gavin Creel, who we spent a lot of Thanksgivings together, he's a very close family member to us, you know. He dragged me into my garage after we had eaten. He goes, hey, I want to talk to you about something. You need to play Rose and Mom and Gypsy. You need to do it. You need to do it. It's just right. And it should be a Black woman. And honey, you need to do it. You need to figure out how you're going to do this. You have to absolutely do this. And George Wolfe even said a few years ago, Gavin cornered George and said, are you going to direct Audra in this? Because you have to do it. So he kind of put it in my head.
George is one of the most brilliant directors. What is the vision here? I mean, and you've been talking to him for a while. I've been hearing whispers of it for a few years and getting really excited about the idea of you two doing this together. What is the take?
You're going to see, you know, this iconic story of a mother who has ambitions and dreams and a desire to have her daughters have more than what she had, to stop generational trauma, to make sure that her daughters aren't, subjugated to, an unfulfilled life. Certain lines may hit different. Hearing a Black woman say, "I was born too soon and got started too late." I mean, that you feel that for women as well, but maybe it'll hit different coming from a Black woman. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's that. It's just going to maybe perhaps resonate in a different way.
You have 2 beautiful daughters yourself, so I'm sure you're relating on a whole other level. And your mama bear, you've said that to them.
They're excited to see it. Joy Woods is about 8 months older than my oldest daughter. So being a mother, having raised kids and knowing what that pain and beauty and passion is, living it in my real life. Sometimes it's hard to get through some of the numbers. Rose's turn especially, because I know that pain that she's in.
It's one for the ages, Kimberly Akimbo, coming soon to a city near you. The show, the winner of 5 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. It's the story of a 16-year-old girl who has a rare and fictional rapid aging disease. Imagine teen angst while living in the body of a 70-year-old woman, while also dealing with a dysfunctional family. Kimberly Akimbo now on tour across the U.S.
Carolee Carmello here, coming to you from the national tour of Kimberly Akimbo. I am so excited to be doing this show and bringing this amazing story around the country. It's just such a great combination of touching and funny and uplifting. I think audiences leave at the end of the night feeling just joyous, and it's very life-affirming. And we've been having wonderful audiences on the road, and I love playing Kimberly. It's just such a great part, and she has such a better attitude about life than I do, so I'm learning from her. I'm going to show you some things backstage and show you a little bit about my day leading up to the show. But I hope you have fun and enjoy this great adventure with me.
So I'm here with Dana. We're looking at things on the set that we've never noticed before.
Not once. We're very observant people. Okay, here's our table. There's my pills that I take. Look at this beautiful artwork. Have you ever really taken a look at that?
No, the
this
teddy bears
one.
are kind of terrifying.
Come on.
And
So what is this? Just someone's living room? Not ours.
it's like,
Yeah. Somebody had fun. This is all stuff that's supposed to look like the Lavaco household. Bags of chips. And look what's in our fridge.
sound check. This is a big theater. Dear Make-A-Wish Foundation of New Jersey. Hello and how are you? My name is Kimberly Lavaco. Please see the attached documentation informing you of my condition. All right, we've just been called to skate call. Oh, here's our skate captain. She's getting some glycerin on the bottom of her skates, which I'm about to do.
Slippy.
We have to do this before we go on stage, because even though the stage is made for ice skating on, it's this surface called Polyglide. It's not quite slippery enough unless you put the glycerin on the bottom of your skates. So here we go, skate call. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, back from skate call. Time to do some pin curls. Wig prep is done. Time for a little bit of makeup. And I have to do some of this before the wig goes on so that the wig doesn't get messed up. Because like this choker is hard to get on once the wig is in place. And I have my candy necklace, which I take a bite out of in the very first moment of the show. So I have to get that on first before the wig goes on. I mean, if you know anything about me, you know that the wig is the most important thing. All right, one last layer of flannel. And I am ready. They just call places, so let's go to the stage.
Oh my God.
All right, we did it!
Here's Beth Stevens with another edition of Building Broadway.
Thanks, Tamsen. Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright David Lindsay-Abaire teamed up with Tony Award-winning composer Jeanine Tesori to turn his early play, Kimberly Akimbo, into a musical. I went to Lindsay-Abaire's Brooklyn home to talk to the creators. I saw Kimberly Akimbo when it was off Broadway way back in 2003. What made you two think it should sing?
Well, Jeanine and I worked on Shrek the Musical together, and we had a really great time, but there were a lot of people involved. And I said to Jeanine, I'd love to do this again, but like I write one of my plays, where it's just us by ourselves, and we can splash around for as long as we need to. And it was Janine's idea. She said, well, what about one of your old plays? And I said, well, what do you mean? And she pulled Kimberly off the shelf.
Right off that shelf.
Off the shelf over here. She said, I think this one sings. It has a big heart in it, and I think there might be a musical there. And then we started investigating.
Jeanine, you've worked with playwrights before, of course. How do you find your way into a piece that's already written?
David is an incredible structuralist, and I work from chaos. You should see my kitchen, and David's kitchen is very orderly and neat. So together we have a great structure, and there's places where the lines blur. I think we bring that out in each other.
I like the way you see the world. I like your point of view. A little sly, a little strange, a little bit askew.
Do you find that there are stories that appeal to both of you? Are there any themes that you're finding in common?
Jeanine and I have very similar senses of humor. I grew up working class, and you know, really horrible things happened to my family and friends, and the more horrible they were, the funnier they sometimes were. That we used humor as a coping mechanism. I think that's something we have in common.
Definitely. It's just like a really silly sense of humor, but also incredibly grounded. One of the actors said it's like the tragedy and comedy that live side by side. They're neighbors, and that's what life is so much of the time, how absurd it is and how beautiful it is.
There is plenty of absurdity. Where did you find that, like the eccentricities?
I didn't have to search very far. As a writer, I try to go past the jokes and ask, well, why is it this way? Why do these people deal with things in such a ridiculous, over-the-top way? It's usually grounded in some very deep hurt. That's why I like working with Jeanine. She understands that tightrope that, yeah, it's really funny, but also it's sad at the same time. It's amazing just to watch the audience experience Kimberly in that way, that they're laughing and then tears are coming as they're laughing. And that's just a great gift as a writer to see that happen.
If you two were to tap into your 16-year-old selves, what do you think they would be thinking about this musical?
I mean, I think I would like it for a bunch of reasons, but the main thing is that was my sensibility from when I was 4 years old. That juxtaposition of oh, it's really horrible and really funny and kind of sad. That was always the work that I was drawn to, and so I liked those kind of shows. Those kinds of shows influenced me. Christopher Durang and John Guare and Tina Howe and these brilliant playwrights, I thought, oh, I just want to write like that. I knew from middle school that that's what I wanted to do. So, I mean, it feels like this show is kind of a throwback to those shows that I loved growing up.
Agree. I mean, my three sisters and I grew up in a very, I would call it a very challenging atmosphere. And so our escapes were opening the window and escaping out literally on the roof and jumping to the ground and running away, but also through intense humor. Yeah.
I mean, we really wanted to make this show about a teenage girl that was not dying, a girl that was living and was trying desperately to be seen and have a happy family and make connections with people and never feel sorry for herself. It's sad because the situation is sad, but Kim never feels sad for herself. She just wants to take action while she has time.
If you like what you just saw, there's an exclusive extended web version of this interview over at Broadway.com. This is a Broadway Show, and we're back in just a few. Oh, Mary is a hilarious Broadway smash of the season. It's an insane dark comedy, very, very loosely based on Mary Todd Lincoln. So let's head out to the theater for a backstage tour.
Hi, my name is Conrad Ricamora. Welcome to the Lyceum Theater. I'm going to give you a little tour. And right here, we have our makeshift green room area where we welcome all of our fancy guests. We've had a lot of them. Robert Downey Jr. just came, Andrew Rannells, Christine Baranski. I didn't even know she was here, and then I looked over and I did the gay gasp when I saw her. Oh yeah, Rosie O'Donnell, Sarah Paulson, Amy Adams, Melissa McCarthy. Melissa Melissa McCarthy has seen it twice, once downtown, once uptown. Part of your backstage tour is me explaining my pre-show ritual, which is my special water that my husband makes that has ginger, lemon juice, and honey in it. And he's so sweet. He makes it for me before every show, and it keeps me healthy. Thanks, sweetie. Some set pieces here. You may recognize them if you've seen the show, which you should. That's the stage right over there. And here is my dressing room right over here. Come on in. A few of my show posters from shows that I've done in the past. Little Shop, Here Lies Love. This Shakespeare's R&J I did in Philadelphia, and I played Juliet as a Catholic schoolboy. It was a really important show in my development as an actor. It was almost 20 years ago. And then all of my Abe Lincoln memorabilia. My friend Dawn, she used to work for Stumptown, and it's Abraham Lincoln's No More Gay Coffee. Just a cup a day keeps the gay away. And then my husband and I found this painting, I don't know, but at an antique store of young Abraham Lincoln. And then there's my husband. That's the one that makes the ginger lemon water every day. Boxes and boxes of throat coat and bourbon when you've had a bad show. At 15 minutes till, I start doing vocal exercises with this little thing that I learned from Cecily Berry's Voice and the Actor. And you hit this thing and then you go pa 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 ba 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 ta 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 da 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 ka 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 ga ga ga. And then I do a bunch of Shakespeare. Cheese balls. Follow me this way. We'll say hello to my best friend, who happens to be my dresser. And here she is. Hi, Amanda. You want to say hi? What's it like working with me? Do you love it?
Well, absolutely horrible.
How dare you? You're fired. That's the last time you'll see. I'm glad you got her on camera now because she's fired. When I first moved here, one of the first shows I saw was Venus in Fur, and I saw it from the second balcony. This theater is kind of unique because it has two balconies, and I was sitting in the very last row, and it was so good, so electric. And when I heard we were moving into this theater, I thought, what a full circle moment. Yeah, and I can attest to all of you wondering out there whether a show from the last row in the upper balcony is good. Yes, I saw it when I first moved here a certain amount of years ago, and I loved it so much. It was one of my seminal New York City moments, and I'll never forget it. Thanks so much. Come to the Lyceum, and speaking of, I have to get ready for the show tonight, so bye.
Now here's another exclusive musical performance from the Broadway.com studio.
Hi, I'm Max Chernin.
And I'm Talia Suskauer.
And we're thrilled to announce that we'll be playing Leo and Lucille on the Parade National Tour.
And here's a sneak peek of This Is Not Over Yet.
Oh, my sweet Lucille, how did you ever manage it? You don't know what any of this means. It means cancel all your parties. Forget your big parade. It means the crowds will not be cheering, so despite what you've been hearing, you can lay down your spade. It means my mother can stop crying. My rabbi's eulogy can wait. It means that Dorsey can stop beaming and my cousin can stop dreaming of his portion of my estate. It means no, this isn't over. No, the date's not set. No, I won't wake up tomorrow drowning in my sweat. It means I've got the greatest partner any man can get. It means I'll never, ever, ever underestimate that woman, 'cause this is not over yet. Tell my uncle not to worry, tell the reaper not to hurry, make the hangman stop his drumming, 'cause I'm coming into town to win the day. Somehow I haven't with my scheming screwed things up beyond redeeming, and we're finally on our way. And no, this isn't over, hell, it's just begun. Hail the resurrection of the South's least favorite son. It means I made.
And that's going to do it for us. But for tickets, or if you want to check out extended cuts of all these interviews, head over to Broadway.com. I'm Tamsen Fadal, and this is The Broadway Show.